Need medical attention?
We're moving on to Jaedong versus Bogus. Same map, New Bloody Ridge. In fact, the winners and losers games will be played on the same map as well. Gladiator, making its triumphant return to the OSL. And the third map they have so far is La Mancha. So we have New Bloody Ridge, Gladiator, and La Mancha so far. But the OSL always adds a fourth map for good balance, good measure. And I have a feeling they're probably going to do another OSL exclusive map as they've done in the past, like Dreamliner, stuff like that. And some other horribly imbalanced maps like Plasma. I hope they have Plasma too. Come on, new Plasma, make it happen. Oh, that would be a dream come true. But here we go. ZVT again on this map. And I'll explain the format a little for the people who might not understand what's going on now that the format has changed. We'll get to that in a second. Except, down at the 8 o'clock position in blue is Jaedong, scouting in the right direction. Oh, wait, it's a two-player map. So up at the 2 o'clock position in white, I think. Is that white? Yeah, it's white. Is Bogus, STX's best Terran player. They've really refined him into a very good player by sending him out a lot. Yes, televised games give you a lot of experience. And that is Nuke the Stars manual for today. But okay, I'm going to explain the format a bit, because this is a different format than the OSL has had before for the pre-round of 16 part of the tournament. Because before they had the round of 36, and they had about 6 games a day, and they spread it out over about a couple of months. Then they said, we can do that in 2 weeks. So they borrowed the MSL's round of 24 dual tournament format. And this format, if you haven't seen the MSL, or you don't follow the MSL or something like that, it basically is broken into, well, you have 4 players in each group. We have groups A through F, 4 players in each. One player fights another player, then the other 2 players fight each other, and the winners of those 2 games, so the winner of the last game and the winner of this game, will go on to a winners match. The 2 winners fight each other, and the winner of the winners match automatically moves out into the round of 16. They're a winner. They're double winner. Extra winner-ish, or something. So, the winners fight each other, and the losers of the first 2 games also fight each other in the losers match. As Jaedong desperately trying to take down the SCV, see if he can keep his own drone alive in the process, but Bogus is trying to do a complete wall-off here, if he can get rid of the freaking drone. But anyway, as I was saying, the losers battle each other as well in the losers match. And the loser of the losers match is knocked out of the OSL. They're out of this thing completely. But there is a final match. The winner of the losers match and the loser of the winners match play each other in the final match. And the winner of that moves out into the round of 16 as well. So even if a player loses in one of their games, one of these starting games, it doesn't mean they're necessarily out of this thing yet. They'll still have a chance to prove themselves in another match or 2. And it gives, but it does give the winners preference. The winners have a lot more chance of moving out. I guess you could say that in any tournament. The winners are going to win. Man, I'm just a fountain of knowledge in these things. But Bogus, it seems, is going to do that complete wall-off and make it very difficult for any Zergling run-bys or anything tricky from Jaedong to happen. This is very strange. It's like a mirrored image of the last game. The Terran is in the different position, Zerg in the other position. We're seeing pretty much the same kind of wall-off from Bogus and the same kind of opening, basically, for Jaedong that Ahayun did. Let's see if it plays out similarly. I have a feeling it won't. The Flash is a very unique style of play as of late. But alright, Jaedong trying to get rid of that SCV inside of his base. And speaking of the format, I think once it gets to the round of 16, they're going to go to the traditional OSL round-robin format. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that is the case. I'm as confused as you are now that they're doing all this stuff, like the My Star League stuff. Oh man, the My Star League thing. As I've mentioned before with My Star League, the whole point of My Star League was to get amateur players into the OSL, to have them battle the pros, and they did. Oh my god, and not a single one of them won anything. No, they didn't win a single game. Not one. It was like 0 and 27. 0 and 27, I believe, between all of the pros. Absolutely embarrassing. But of course, well, not pros. I said pros. It was amateur players that went 0 and 27. And there's a reason for that. The pros practice hours and hours a day of playing freaking StarCraft. They live in team houses that are devoted to playing StarCraft, and that's all they do. They just play StarCraft. They think about StarCraft. They dream about StarCraft. They get up. They use their StarCraft toothbrushes and brush their teeth there. The StarCraft emblem on the side of their little spit cup. And yes, they live StarCraft. So there wasn't much of a chance of any player breaking out and moving on. That would have been a cool like Cinderella story if an amateur player had worked up to the round of 16 or the round of 24, a round of 24 at least. But I don't know. Actually, it seemed that Bogus is building a lot more barracks, so he could possibly go for Flash's build in the last game. Obviously, he's been in the studio this whole time watching what was happening, so maybe he's like, that looks like a good build. Or it might just be an aggressive little push for him, but not completely all-in aggressive as Flash usually is. Spire coming up for Jaedong on the other side. Let's see what Jaedong can do with these Zerglings. My guess is not much. Bogus has a pretty good little wall there at the front. Another barracks for Bogus. So he is going to push out with a heavy amount of troops as Jaedong is taking his third. He moved out with that drone to take the third, and he's plopping down that hatchery right now. And the bases are pretty close. Jaedong will be able to defend that pretty easily with his Mutalisk, since he'll be able to dart back and forth between the natural and that 9 o'clock base pretty easily with the Mutas. +1 upgrade coming up for Bogus on the other side. I don't see... Did I see the Academy yet? Oh, obviously. Obviously, unless he's found some way to get a medic out without an Academy, there is an Academy somewhere. So the 4 medics in the back for Bogus, and he is prepared for anything that Jaedong can throw at him. And Jaedong will be throwing some Mutalisks at him right now. Okay, now. There we go. A little bit late to get all those larvae up at the same time. But alright, the larvae coming out. Missile turrets on the other side for Bogus, so he is going to play a little bit more defensively. He has a bunker at the front, and he's going to try to move out, get a little bit of damage, try to find those Zerglings if he can. Jaedong being sneaky Jaedong. Going to keep his Zerglings at the top and maybe try to do a run-by if he isn't spotted. Oh, if I were him, I would hide those Zerglings on the ramp. Maybe Bogus can see those. It's actually hard to tell because the Zerglings kind of in the middle of the ramp. I don't think the Bogus could have seen those Zerglings, so the Zerglings might run out here. I think they were spotted, though. Yes, the Zerglings were spotted. Kind of a run-by opportunity thwarted by Bogus. He's kind of playing more cautious than Flash did in the last game. But now we have some turrets on the other sides. A scan from Bogus so he can find out where those freaking Mutalisks are going. And he's building a lot of additional turrets to the left side of his natural expansion. Jaedong going for the medics, sniping one of the medics. 3 left, so that should be enough to defend Bogus for the time being. Here comes a pincer attack from Jaedong getting in there. Oh, with the Zerglings, that was a nice pincer. Very good pincer. Loses very few Mutalisks in that attack. All of his Zerglings went down, of course, but the main army, the important part of the army, the Mutalisks, basically all lived. I didn't see one blood splatter there. It might have been a blood splatter, but that I didn't catch immediately. But yeah, that was a nice pincer from Jaedong, keeping Bogus from moving out for a longer period of time. Bogus going into his factory now. He has a lot of barracks running, so he's going to try to push out, be a little bit more aggressive, and go after that third base that Jaedong has going. That seems to be the way you have to go as the Terran on this map against the Zerg. Since that third base is so close, that third gas is so close, you gotta find a way to get to it quickly. And Bogus, he's grouping up troops, waiting for a few more reinforcements before he moves out, I think. And now he's moving out, trying to find those Mutalisks, taking down another medic, though. The more medics that go down, oh, the worse this is going to be for Bogus. He does have more reinforcements I see flooding out as Jaedong getting some Lurkers on the high ground area, blocking the choke just in case Bogus should get Cavalier, find a way to get by these Mutas. The Marines do have the +1 upgrade, so they will rip into these Mutas pretty soon. So, yeah, it's a good thing that Jaedong is transitioning. into all of the starport now. For Bogus is going to go straight into science vessels, already going to have tanks to go out and support this army as well. But the Lurkers at the top, this might be a stop Lurker attack actually from Jaedong. Oh, that would be brilliant if he can get a nice stop Lurker attack on the high ground area. Bogus is moving forward. What's the observers would look at this? Oh man, Jaedong! Oh, it wasn't a stop Lurker attack. It was just basic Lurkers on the top, but Bogus was ready for it. I think he already scanned at the top, knew to go over there and surround those Lurkers, but Jaedong cleverly backs off, so he does not lose a single Lurker. I think they're all down pretty much yellow now, but he didn't lose one, and that's the most important part. He can regenerate that health. But now, let's see, Bogus moving around. He's going straight into his tanks, I believe, since he put the machine shop on that factory. I think he's going straight into tanks. No vulture harassment or anything, as I've been seeing a lot of Terran players doing recently. Another hatchery for Jaedong, going straight into his hive so he can get 2 defilers. And he snuck inside the main, actually, sniping a couple of medics. Man, he's been sniping all kinds of medics in this game, keeping the medic count low so he can do more effective pincer attacks later once he has his ground army into play. But Bogus trying to intercept these mutas, actually successfully taking down a muta. So Jaedong don't have to back off. Bad Jaedong loses. Wow, way too many mutas. But of course the mutas are losing their effectiveness in this match anyway. Especially now that science vessels are about to pop out. The mutalists will pretty much be rendered useless, so they couldn't have gotten much done anymore anyway. So good to work on that ground army. He's going to have a couple of mutalisks out there basically just for scouting purposes. Second starport on the other side for Bogus. He could be going for dropship play, something like that. I doubt it would be Wraiths. Wraiths would be pretty insane. I'd love to see that though. Haven't seen a Terran player use Wraiths effectively against Zerg since Fantasy, I think. But alright, let's check this out. The tank's coming out, a few tanks now for Bogus, so he will be able to apply a lot more pressure on Jaedong's front door as Jaedong trying to take that 6 o'clock position. That might be scouted pretty soon, though, since Bogus is already down there. He's only a hop, skip, and a jump away from scouting that 6 o'clock position. I'm not sure if the hatchery is going to go down there or not, but this could be a huge pincer attack from Jaedong. He's trying to get into position for a pincer attack, proving to be more difficult than he thought it would be, but a lot of Lurkers out. Lot of Lurkers for Jaedong, and he still has quite a few Zerglings out in the field as well. Of course, the tanks are outranging the Lurkers, but there's so many Lurkers. I don't see these tanks getting rid of all these Lurkers anytime soon. So Jaedong, I think he is going to go for a massive attack once he thinks he has enough Zerglings to take most of the hits. For those Lurkers. But either way, oh man, the Night Canal finally up for Jaedong, so he'll be able to protect his new base over at the 9 o'clock. Jaedong backing off little bit by little bit. Of course, he's losing the saturation of his Lurker troop, but he will have Defilers soon. He does have Defilers right now. Waiting on the consume. Oh, Lurkers on the high ground, taking out some troops. I think one of the Lurkers died, but it's not going to be that big of a deal. Here comes a Science Vessel, but Jaedong beats the Science Vessel, gets out there with the Dark Swarm, trying to take out the tanks. If he can take out the tanks, it's going to be all Bogus trying to retreat. Retreats into Lurkers. Brilliant Lurker positioning from Jaedong. Jaedong, you've been practicing, haven't you, buddy? So another hatchery coming up at the 10 o'clock position, going up there with some Zerglings. Since there are no medics, this will be pretty easy to stop. But at least Bogus knows about that 10 o'clock position now. He's got to be a lot more aggressive than he has been. He is going for dropship play. Moving out for the dropship play, he's got to be careful of the Scourge, obviously. I'd say scan before you drop. But, okay, now the Bogus is going to snipe one Overlord. That's something. Got something done there. But he's backing off, it seems. He is not applying any more pressure to the front. He's going to try to rely on those drop tactics, sneaky tactics, and he has some vultures out as well, probably to lay some mines everywhere. It's actually a typical late game TVZ now to go for vultures. It's just awesome. Those mines, man, they cause so much damage. But here come the Lurkers, trying to get surrounded the remaining medic marines that are out here. Some mines being placed, but I think Jaedong's going to be careful enough to run out with just a couple of Zerglings to get rid of that. The hatchery was up at yellow at the 10 o'clock position, dropping a few troops, but there is going to be a Dark Swarm here from Jaedong to get rid of the rest of these troops. I think there was a scan there or something from Bogus because he backed off pretty quickly with those 2 dropships. Jaedong was prepared for that. I think that Jaedong taking out one of the dropships. Only 1 dropship remains, and the Zerglings are ready to intercept the rest of the troops. So completely unsuccessful drop so far for Bogus. He's dropping on the high ground here for whatever reason. Probably just to try to take out some Scourge to try to chase down the dropship. And now Jaedong coming out the front. He has killed everything here. The reinforcement line is in trouble. GG from Bogus. He wasn't able to get anything done with those drops. Had no way to defend his front since he was out with his troops. The Dark Swarm just tore him apart. Another pretty one-sided game. But oh man, quite a winner's match we have coming up. Let's go to that right now. Winner's match. On Gladiator. Russell Crowe.